And Mike Tomlin, I mean, he's one of my favorite guys in football. He is like rock solid as a human being. Like, you don't have more character than Mike Tomlin. And if you can't sit across, and that's the thing, like, listening to him over the last decade and a half or whatever, and watching him operate, I cannot imagine that you sit across a room from him in an interview for a couple of hours and are not impressed by his character.
Yeah, you'll be hard pressed. You know,
I can't imagine it. And if
Yeah.
if you're going to say, well, we're not going to hire him because he's too, I mean, you're not going to hire him because he's black, like, you're never going to hire him to begin with.
yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a sham interview if that's the case.
Mike Tomlin. So the Miami Dolphins allegedly did not hire current Steelers head coach Mike Tomlin after the 2007 interview because he was too hip hop to be a head coach. Of course, Pittsburgh Steelers went off to be one of the most consistent NFL teams we have in the league, and Miami has been a mixed bag of nothingness since 2007.
Since before.
Yeah, since before. Since Dan Marino.
Interesting. And I don't know the answer to this question. Who was the Dolphins' owner then? Was it the same guy that currently owns the team or not?
Is it Ross?
Ross currently owns the
Yeah,
team.
yeah, yeah.
I have no idea if he was the owner in 2007.
Yeah.
But yeah, that is. I mean, the funny. I mean, the too hip hop is just the only way you could say that. He's too black.
Yeah.
That's just another, like, this. You're just trying to dance around the fact that he's black and you're not going to hire him. I mean, that is an absolute shame. They deserve the mediocrity that they've had for the last 18 years or 17 years because of that decision.
This is interesting. He became owner in 2008.
So the year after.
Yeah.
So did it say who the owner was at that point?
I have to look it up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
So,
it is.
Yeah. But, yeah, that's just, bad decision making. And it's great to see, like, one of the things I hate in life is when stupid people move ahead. When people that do shitty things benefit from it. And so, like, I love the fact that the Dolphins have not really had any meaningful success since they made this decision.
Yeah.
Some
guy named Wayne
Huizenga. He started Blockbuster.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And then a waste management company.
Mm.
Yeah. So, okay. Yeah, he had it from, I think, the 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, fuck Wayne, man. Racist bitch.
Seriously.
Yeah, that's funny, though.
Now he gets to hide into the abyss.
Yeah. He might be dead. I don't know.
Yeah, who knows?
Hopefully.
But yeah, this is just awful. I mean, that perfect point that you brought up. Being too hip hop means you're just too black. When 90% of your team is black. So what's 90% of your team is hip hop?
Yeah.
I mean, do you have are you tone deaf? What is going on here?
But we've talked about this before. It's like you have, at the time you have a white owner, you probably have a white general manager, and they interview head coaches looking, for familiarity and in their mind relatability, and that's leads them to just hire white people and come up with these type of stupid excuses.
Yeah.
And Mike Tomlin, I mean, he's one of my favorite guys in football. He is like rock solid as a human being. Like, you don't have more character than Mike Tomlin. And if you can't sit across, and that's the thing, like, listening to him over the last decade and a half or whatever, and watching him operate, I cannot imagine that you sit across a room from him in an interview for a couple of hours and are not impressed by his character.
Yeah. You'll be hard pressed.
I can't imagine it. And if you're going to say, well, we're not going to hire him because he's too, I mean, you're not going to hire him because he's black, like, you're never going to hire him to begin with.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, again, it's a sham interview if that's the case. Yeah, despicable, but sadly not
doesn't surprise. Doesn't come off as surprising.
Not surprising.
Yeah, that's for sure. All right, let's get to some surprising stories here, and then we'll circle back to football. All right. Once again, you guys are on the bench podcast with Bubba and Pink, home of sports, music, and mayhem. We're available on all that I do mean all podcast streaming platforms, including here on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, all of that good stuff. Look at this story here, man. A father was arrested, okay?
You know,
Go ahead.
I just realized for the first time he's holding a farm animal
Who?
in his hand.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason, I thought that might have been his daughter.
No. Oh, in the smaller picture
Like,
when you
the
couldn't really
smaller
see.
picture, now that I can
Yeah,
see,
yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like, oh my God. Yeah.
So, okay, so he was arrested for fatally shooting 67-year-old man found with his missing 14-year-old daughter. Okay, somewhere in Arkansas. Aaron Spencer. Okay, let's see here. The family says that Foster had a no contact order with their daughter, and when Aaron Spencer confronted him, their interaction turned deadly. Now, why would he have a no contact order with the daughter beforehand?
Yeah, that jumped out at me. So there must have been some prior interaction.
Yeah. It says now Heather Spencer is trying to clear her husband's name and raise funds for his legal defense. Heather claimed Foster was a known child predator with ties to law enforcement. Doesn't surprise me. And that her husband was trying to protect this child. In the court of public opinion, it seems many believe Aaron is a hero. What is your take on that?
He should never be arrested. I mean, he did a public service by putting down a pedophile, and pedophiles don't come back. Like they're not changing. If that's what you are, you're always going to be that. So the only option is to eliminate you, and thankfully that's what this guy did. Anybody that has a daughter or a child, for that matter, of any gender, if somebody who's a sexual predator absconds with your child, like, you will want to kill them. And in my estimation, you are right to kill them.
Yeah.
It just keeps it simple. He should not be arrested. He should be freed immediately and given the key to the city.
So listen to this. And first, and 14 is young. I mean, whatever. 17, 18 is young as well. But like 13, 14, this is a baby, man. But listen, so this is the wife. By God's never-failing grace, my husband passed this man driving on our road with our minor child in the vehicle. As soon as the predator knew my husband was behind him, he ran. The chase ended in an accident. Aaron was able to retrieve our child alive, but in the process, he was attacked and did what he had to do to protect himself and our minor child. He is now facing an outrageous murder 1 charge. Of course, 15 to life. Now,
Murder 1's interesting.
yeah. So explain that.
So murder 1 is premeditated murder.
Yeah.
Murder 2 would be a heat of the moment murder, and manslaughter is just kind of reckless indifference to human life. So if what the wife said is accurate,
right.
murder 1 seems ridiculous because, again, it's a heat of the moment scenario. He's driving in the car. He sees the predator with his daughter in the car. He gives chase. An accident follows. An altercation follows, and then he kills the guy. That's heat of the moment all day.
Now, what if the other lawyer argues that, well, he had a no contact. He knows he had a no contact. He should have called the police once he saw the daughter in the car. Is that an argument they can make? That they probably will make?
Who would make
the defense or whatever the correct term? No. The other side, the prosecutor, I guess the word is.
No.
Because remember, that guy had a no contact.
Yeah, no.
With the predator.
If they're gonna go with murder 1, they're going to have to argue that this was a premeditated, calculated act. They're going to have to argue that he was hunting this guy and found him, locked in, and executed his plan.
Okay.
That's to get murder 1, because basically it's a premeditated murder. I decide in advance that I'm going to go kill the predator today, and I set my plan and I execute my plan. That's why I said heat of the moment seems more appropriate with the wife's account, because it's, hey, I happen to see this guy, there's my daughter, everything, I'm emotionally charged.
Which that's a huge chance that you just happen to see him pass by.
Yeah, for sure. Well, but here's another reality.
And again, and I'm on his side.
No,
you know
but
what I
put
mean?
it in context. Like, your daughter is missing.
Yeah.
You don't know where she is.
Right.
So, I mean, like, whether you're hunting this guy specifically or just hunting your daughter, you are on high alert,
Yeah.
desperate to find your daughter wherever she may be. You're probably calling her friends, calling, anybody that might have had contact with her. I mean, I'm thankfully none of my children have ever been involved in any sort of sexual predator activity. But
Kidnapping,
there
anything.
has been a couple of times when they were a bit younger, like high school years, where like they didn't make it home and there wasn't clear communication about where they were or what they were doing. And like, again, it's, you don't want to seem too crazy, but I started hitting up friends on Facebook. I have their numbers and I'm like, hey, have you seen, my son? Have you seen my daughter? Like, are you with her? Like, what's up?
Yeah.
And I mean, thankfully every time, again, it's a couple of times, every time I've had to go that route, the friends have been really cool, and either they give me information or they say, "Hey, I didn't see him," but nobody's acted super strange that I'm suddenly hitting up a teenager looking for my kid. But yeah, But at the end of the day, I don't give a shit what the circumstances are. This guy doesn't belong in jail.
Right.
There's no excuse for the 67-year-old sexual predator to have this girl in his car, in his environment for any reason. His death is completely justified, and there's just not a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, not a lot at all. We'll see where it goes, man. I don't know, man. I really hope that nothing. I hope that he can come out of this.
Yeah.
Because a man wants to protect his family, man, and in the best way that they know how, and especially if he had an inkling the whole time that this guy who has a non-contact, that has had some type of run-in with my daughter in the past. We know that he's a sexual predator.
Yeah.
He's listed, and he probably had that feeling the whole time, and then just was able to confirm it in the heat of the moment when he had his weapon on him. You're gonna snap.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's point blank period.
And here's another thing that I really don't like about this is, think about this from the perspective of the young girl. She was, with this guy, whether this guy actually had some inappropriate relations with her or maybe just absconded with her and didn't yet have a chance to do that. She's been traumatized.
Yeah.
She's obviously present for this incident when her dad kills the guy, which is also traumatizing. And now, instead of getting to a place where she could begin whatever the healing process is going to look like, she's now in this thing where her dad's now in jail.
Yeah.
Her protector. And, it just doubles down on the trauma to her. And what interest of the state are you serving? Like, if you're the prosecutor in this case, what the fuck are you serving?
Yeah.
We have a dead sexual predator and you have a dad in jail. For what? You don't want to encourage vigilantism? Well, guess what? Do a better job with your fucking law enforcement. You don't have a problem. But this is absurd.
All right. On from one absurd story to the next. We have an auntie in prison, okay?